Would you be willing to take me through like the steps of your change? Like the different. So I imagine it didn't start, like, it seems like you got boobs.
Mm-hmm.
That's one step.
You're talking about the change of, like,
Yeah, you
actually
did the hormones.
after,
Yeah.
hormones.
Is that okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Feel for you.
So the first thing was like knowing, hey, I'm different.
Uh-huh.
And then it was talking to the trees and then having a partner.
I'm not sure if many other people go and talk to trees, but yeah, having
But
a
you
part.
did.
I did, yeah.
And with just some kind of nature type of natural religion or natural kind of guidance.
Yeah.
You took yourself out in nature and asked
funny
for
funny
direction.
enough, a lot of trees are actually, I don't know if the proper term, there is a term for it, I can't remember it, but they're intersex, that they both can seed and be seeded.
Okay.
Elm trees and certain types of oak trees. So maybe they gave me some sort of power and facilitation to do that.
I'm down.
Yeah, but
and then there was the partner there that said, go for it, be you. And the first step, as I heard it, was taking some medicine or some kind of like hormones.
That really my body had been waiting for. And my body, I felt so much more comfortable, so much more happy.
What'd the hormones do? Like, what were they?
Estrogen and estradiol is a form of estrogen, and then spironolactone, which blocks testosterone, and progesterone, which kind of works with the estrogen as an additional female hormone. They lose a lot of body hair, not facial hair, unfortunately, but a lot of body hair. Change your scent, become more like sweeter smelling. Activate the mammary glands, so you start to get boobs.
You start to get boobs from those pills?
Yep.
Or whatever?
Yeah, we lovingly call them titty skittles.
Titty skittles.
Yeah.
Okay.
For trans women. Now hormones for trans people, trans men do the opposite, right?
They start to lose their breasts.
Well, they don't lose I don't think they lose their breasts. That actually usually has to be dealt with through through procedure.
But they start to be more
they
hairy.
Get hair, they get body hair, their scent changes, they get facial hair. Their voice changes, actually. That's something that doesn't happen with trans women. Trans men, testosterone, like, it kind of, don't know exactly what it does, but it changes the vocal cords.
Whoa.
It makes the voice drop.
You get that dad voice.
They do. Yeah.
You can now command some
they do. It's pretty cool.
Stop right there.
It's pretty cool. And I appreciate it because trans women, we don't get that.
But does your voice soften? No.
No. My voice that you hear now is from just work that I've done.
Have you changed your voice?
I have. Yeah.
Like thoughtfully?
Yeah. At this point, it's like pretty natural, but I've modeled it a little bit after my mom's East Texas accent. But it took me a while to figure that out too.
Did you have to fake it until you made it though? Like there was an imposter vibe? You had to, and then try on this.
Yeah. And oftentimes unfortunately with trans women, get most of the bullshit that we get has to do with our voice. People will, I could look just like this and someone will hear your voice, and now this hasn't happened to me in a really long time, but someone will say sir, or whatnot, and that's pretty crushing when that kind of shit happens. Now it hasn't happened for me in a long time, but I've talk about phases and stuff. You take hormones and then you start changing. I started changing after about 3 or 4 months on hormones. That's when I started changing the way I dressed.
You started dressing more feminine.
Yeah. I started wearing makeup. I didn't have a clue of how to wear makeup.
How the heck did you learn how to do that?
Through trial.
You could talk to my daughters though. They're doing it.
Through trial and error. I honestly didn't watch. A lot of people watch like YouTube videos. I just would look at other women, or I know a fair amount of other trans women. I'd kind of hear what they're up to.
It's artistry. Like makeup is art. They get.
Yeah, and I still feel like I have tons to learn.
Yeah,
but yeah, I did that, and then my sexuality then kind of changed. I realized I was with a woman, and I don't know why I'm feeling like sheepish about it, but the sex that we're having, I was like, oh, this different. This is different from anything I've ever had before. I mean, it's my same body, but my body was changing, you know, my presentation was changing. But it was like more sensual. It was more like focused. It was more, you know, it felt more emotional. And like sex had never felt like that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the past couple years before transitioning, when I still had like my male form, I literally felt like a fish out of water whenever I had sex with women. I hated it. And I thought for a long time, I was like, well, maybe I'm gay. But no, it's because I was in the wrong form for me to have sex with a woman. I hated it.
So the sexual energy changed with your partner.
And the idea of like the concept of like making love, when in my previous gender, I was like, what the fuck is that? I can't. Now, like every time I'm with a woman, it feels like making love because it's so much more emotional. It's more, it feels more like equal, and you know, it's just like soul to soul, like soul sex. And so that was another thing. That's part of it. And then being like, I remember I had a really awesome therapist, and I remember getting on a call, and it's like, so the theme of the week is, and I remember whispering it. I said, I think I'm a lesbian. And my therapist is so cool. My therapist goes, well, Nova, you're a woman, and you talk about how much you enjoy women, you know, like,
yeah,
I'd been going like girl crazy and stuff, and my spectrum of attraction expanded in terms of all the different types of women that I appreciated and loved, you know, became like much bigger. And he's like, yeah, it makes sense. You're a woman who likes women. You're a lesbian. And so that blew my mind. I never set out to define that. And then when I looked back at like stuff in my life, like some sexual kind of early sexual fantasies I had, it was about me as being a woman with other women. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So that happened. I thought it's going to be the opposite because
you thought you would be a woman who liked men.
Yeah, I thought I'd be like a hetero woman because I'd been with men before, as in a feminine state before hormones. But the hormones actually made me feel gay as fuck. so that happened. And then additional things that kind of happened was, I had a great therapist that supported me, became much more social, had lots more friends, was called into like activism. I never set out to be an activist, was called because it's like we were getting like, target.
Yeah, when your life is being impacted by legislature.
And so part of my personality is like, I'm going to try and contribute or do something about this, you know? And then I also I've had a couple procedures, had a couple surgeries. I had a facial surgery, so my face looks a little different from what it did before.
A facial feminization.
Facial feminization surgeries.
I remember seeing those pictures.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like the brow and the nose and the cheeks or the mouth area.
Essentially, this is my wording on it is that they undo the features that happen from the male puberty that I went through. So that as a child, and I remember the first time I saw myself after I'd taken all the bandages off, I was like, oh, this is the face I remember when I was a child. My features hadn't hardened from male puberty. And also the funny thing is that as a child before puberty, I was a real social butterfly. I was a real gabby kid. I was really charming and lovey-dovey. And once I went through puberty, I became more introverted. That's just an interesting kind of anecdote of development. But so I had the facial surgery, and then recently, a couple months ago, I got breast augmentation, and I also had my 2 lowest ribs on each side taken out, which is.
What's that about?
Which is pretty metal.
That's pretty metal.
When I tell people that, people are like, damn, Nova, you're hardcore.
You do take a rib from the man to make a lady, right? You made the lady.
Yeah. So
you took one of your own ribs and made the lady.
Yeah. I can't remember what the story is there, but yeah, so they say. But
What's the ribs part? Why?
So what it does, it allows for the waist to like cinch in more. So it allows for a more
like
kind
a
of curvy hourglass. Kind of figure.
Yeah, okay. Took out some
Yeah.
ribs and added
And that's
some boobs.
not a common. The rib surgery is not a real common one. So and there's some people who think it's a danger, and it is a dangerous surgery. Every surgery can be dangerous, but because it's close to the spinal cord, and some people say, well, we don't know. They've only been doing it for like, it's somewhat new, and so people are like, we don't know what the lasting repercussions are.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm not worried about it. Like tens of thousands, I don't know, about a couple thousands of trans women have had that procedure, and there haven't been any major issues. So, yeah, this recent surgeries, those were back in April, and that's like what I would call it kind of body sculpting, you know. I also had a little bit of fat relocated and put into my butt, so my butt's a little bit bigger. It's not like drastically, but
You got that Brazilian.
yeah, Brazilian. I had a partial Brazilian butt lift.
Partial.
Yeah.
You didn't go full Brazilian.
No. My surgeon was trying to sell that to me, but I don't have that money.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
going all the way.
Yeah. So, yeah. And I think just becoming more active in the trans and queer community has been a part of my journey and experience.
Yeah. Is there any other things you're going to do as a part of your transition?
Yeah. Well, I moved to Bellingham, Washington recently.
Which is a place where there's more of those kind of people, or what is the move about?
The move was because I knew that Washington would be more of a more accepting like culture society for trans people. And in general, it is. It's not perfect. I thought that actually a walnut tree on Lopez Island gave me the encouragement to move
Through your Druidism.
through my
Druidism.
through my druidry. I was there praying, and I was there in August last summer, and I was like, you know, just being like, kind of feeling a little brokenhearted that like I'm not gonna find love. And that tree gave me this feeling that said, no, you are worthy of love. You come up here to this area, and your love will be here.
What kind of tree was this?
It's a 150-year-old walnut tree.
Walnut tree.
Actually, black walnut tree.
Well, I need to talk to this walnut tree because
it is a absolute wizardly tree.
Well, because
I'm
gonna have to come up there and talk to this tree because
it is a realm.
I want to find a partner too.
It is truly a realm. So you walk up and underneath this tree, it is truly a realm. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it is my biggest tree, like master.
your tree. It's your top.
It is
top
now
tree.
I have a number of them out there, but it is my biggest teacher.
Did you name the tree?
You know, it's funny enough.
You could have named the tree. That would make sense.
Often there are some trees I've named.
Yeah.
I just call it the wizardly walnut tree.
Wizardly walnut.
Yeah.
For alliteration.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was of this hope to like find, you know, more love and
partner, companionship.
Yeah. And I haven't necessarily found that just yet. I have found that and this is something I touched on it in our conversation earlier a little bit, that the gay women up in for whatever reason in Bellingham are not having it with trans women. My experience at least, I've had a couple instances of women like being into me. Now I don't know if they're gay. I think they were. I'm not sure, but like on their own, they're like vibing. You know, I was like on a dance floor, and I'm very protective of like I don't put anything out until, you know. And this one was like, and I was like, okay, she's like dancing all over me pretty much. Mm-hmm. And I, you know, at some point I kind of danced like back. We're like kind of dancing into each other. She said something to me. I turned. I was like, huh? And I was like, I'm a little hard of hearing. And so I said, I'm kind of hard of hearing. Well, you know, what did you say? And she goes, and just like backed up and like walked away. And for a minute, I was like, what? Like, what the hell was that? What happened? And then it hit me that maybe because of my voice. Because she looked shocked. And yeah, so I don't know, but that's what it felt like.
It's harder to find a companion because you're a transgender, transsexual woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like lesbian women aren't open to that for companionship.
It seems, but who knows? I mean, maybe there's, you know, one of, you know, like 100,000 out there that will meet me and adore me and you know, want to like love me. But that's kind of what I found. And that was like a hard truth that I kind of came to. There was another instance of a woman walking down the street, and she said something like, "You're fine, you're fucking hot." And I was like, I turned around and I was like, "Do what?" And I said, I can't remember what I said to her. He was like, I said something like, you know, you can tell me that all night long or something. And she goes, again, she's like, you know, and just
When she gets that hint
fucking
of
walked
man,
off. Yeah.
when she gets that hint of like you used to be a man,
Yeah.
or there's a
Or
masculine
I'm
thing
not,
a part of
or
you.
I'm a certain type of woman or something.
Yeah.
But for a while, for a little bit, that really got me down, because I was like, I moved up here hoping I'd find it. And I'd gotten kind of bitter and upset about it. And I was like, I took some mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, and I had just a great trip. And I came out of that and I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm as I am.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of who I am. I love who I am. And I was thinking about having like bottom surgery, having a switching my genitals into a vagina.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of leaning on not doing that now, because I've experienced like this kind of like this, you know, I don't know what to call it, but like just, you know, exclusion or whatnot. I'm like, fuck it. You know, I'm a chick with a dick, and I'm a beautiful, nice looking, you know, pretty good shape, good body, and very good, at the lesbian arts, woman.
She's talking about cunnilingus right there. I think that's what she's talking about.
Very good with
This
my
is getting adult, y'all.
yeah, very good with my mouth and
Put
lips.
your children to bed now and continue with our discussion.
And my hands too, and whatnot. I'm gonna stop there.
All your faculties
Yeah.
have been oriented towards
Yeah.
a female body.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so anyways,
And pleasure.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Y'all hear that, ladies? Y'all hear that?
no, but I'm not gonna let people make me feel bad about how I am.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten to a point where I feel like really happy and healthy with it all. So, and it's ever evolving, you know.